Welcome to the recording of the exhibitor presentation from May 27th, 2026. The revolutionary IKONN product series for blind, low vision and deafblind people, Unwired Things. Enjoy the presentation.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Sorry to keep you all waiting. I had some difficulties with the network connectivity this afternoon. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what IKONN actually is. I think we've been out on the market now for close to a year now. We started just launching the products in Denmark, and then we've been gradually expanding into other countries. We have around 14 countries now where we have resellers and distributors. We started this product development some years ago with asking the question of what could we do to make household devices for visually impaired users more affordable and a little more up to date. That led to quite a long design process where we involved a lot of blind and visually impaired users asking for input and trying to find a way to firstly make some new products accessible, perhaps that were not previously accessible, and at the same time trying to make things perhaps aesthetically a bit more pleasing so they became products that the whole family was interested in using. We ended up deciding, rather than making a whole new family of talking products for blind users, to take a different approach. And to make use of all of the newer developments with smart products and Internet of Things technologies, all of these things that have come in the last 10 years, and build on that to create a whole new range of products. And the way that we went about doing that was to say, well, instead of the products themselves talking, let's create a solution where we have a hub or a remote control which can do the speaking. There's a few advantages from taking that approach. One is that you can put a lot more intelligence into the product and a lot more instructions and help for the user. Another is that it becomes a very flexible solution, so you can keep on adding new products that can talk via this remote control. And from a sort of a market point of view, it also allows us to much more efficiently and economically create solutions for new countries. So by adding, for example, Lithuanian or Slovakian or French or whatever other language to this remote control, we were able to make all of the products in our range now speak Lithuanian, French, whatever language we choose to put on there. And that is something that, makes this economically a much more beneficial system. It means that the products themselves cost somewhat less than traditional assistive products. But it also means that, partly because of that, we're actually able to bring out some products that I would say are probably in many countries never been available before for a blind user, like calipers or an angle measure, things like that, by virtue of the fact that we don't need to make a Slovakian speaking tape measure or angle measure or anything like that. So it's been a way to create a whole new range of products. So I'm going to show a short video which just kind of gives a summary of what's in the products themselves, and then you can we'll go through a couple of the other features of the series, and let you ask questions after that. So one moment while I just share the correct screen here.
Experience everyday independence with IKONN, a family of connected products designed for anyone with low vision and for the people around them. With IKONN, you decide how to connect. Use the My IKONN app or the Tactile IKONN controller, depending on what works best for you, and get large, high-contrast measurements on your phone or tablet, or clear audio feedback in your own language. With IKONN-compatible products, you can measure your projects, monitor your weight or temperature and air quality at home, and cook safely with smart kitchen tools, thermometers, and timers. Add the color sensor to sort clothes and select outfits. With simple design, tactile buttons, and step-by-step support videos, IKONN makes it easy to get started. Download the free My IKONN app, connect your products in seconds, and customize colors, contrast, and units to match how you see and hear the world. With IKONN, every product works together in a single, seamless ecosystem built for independence, confidence, and ease of use. IKONN makes everyday products accessible for everyone. Learn more at ikonn.info.
All right. So hopefully you were able to see that video as I played it. Now, as you can see in there, we showed the controller, but along the way, we've also introduced the My IKONN app. So this idea of having a central remote control, we've extended out and we said, okay, well, if we follow this process, then the controller can be many different things. It can be our tactile remote controller, but it can also be a smartphone. And by following that approach, then the smartphone solution, of course, is suitable for a certain number of blind users who are able to use TalkBack and VoiceOver. But it also extends the relevance of these products to low vision users as well. So it means that, rather than having to, if you're not able to see things very well, but you do have some eyesight, then you can use this app with a large display format and continue to use whatever remaining sight you have for another 5 years instead of having to switch to audio-based solutions. So that's been a huge benefit for a lot of low vision users. And then the last thing is that with that smartphone-based solution that you would see there, then we're also able to connect that to a bunch of other solutions, such as cochlear implant, hearing aids, even Braille display. So for deafblind users, this actually provides a completely new level of opportunity to connect to a lot of these products. So if you like, the benefits, for the end user is that these are sort of a family of quite usable and accessible products. We have the very high quality audio assistance built into them, explaining how to use each product. If there's a low battery, they're informed about the low battery, how to change the battery. But the design also makes these products something that the rest of the family is happy to use. So it's also something that creates inclusion in a new way. The last thing then is just, as I said earlier, the new functionality that you make available to people, which economically couldn't really be produced previously, at least not at a price that would ever be acceptable to an end user. There are a few solutions out there which have maybe been built reliant on the state paying for them, and then it's priced at hundreds or thousands of euros, but that's not really a sustainable solution if we're trying to build products that aim to address blind and visually impaired people around the world, because that's simply not available in most countries. And then, from a societal point of view, I mean, the big thing really with doing this is that we make more of these products accessible for people, also financially accessible, and give them a greater level of independence at home. And that's really what this has all been about. So as I mentioned, we have two ways of addressing the products. The products themselves you saw in the video or heard a little bit about them in the video. I would recommend anybody who's interested in the products in detail to look on our homepage, where we have more detailed information about each product and some short videos. That is on the ikonn.info website. And there we have in about 15 languages product information. So as I said, the remote control that we've developed, that's aimed at blind users. So it has soft tactile buttons and operates, I suppose you could consider it a little bit like a iPod style audio menu interface for anybody who remembers the iPod. It's purely audio driven, so there's no screen on the device. It can be recharged. It's got a battery life of about sort of between 5 and 10 days, depending on how much people use it. We can also update it via an app. And the last thing is that you can change the language on the device. So it can be switched to any of about 20 different languages at the moment, with more on the way. Now, the other thing which I mentioned was the My Icon app. Sorry, I'm just flicking here by mistake. So that runs on iOS and Android. So any Apple iPhone or iPad of at least in the last 5 or 6 years will run the app. It has full TalkBack and VoiceOver support. Now it is possible, today to find an app somewhere or other that works with a kitchen scale, perhaps, and if you're lucky, then there's some voiceover in it. But as maybe any of you who've worked with this before would know, then sometimes the accessibility is a little bit patchy, or a new version comes out and they forgot to check whether it worked with voiceover. So rarely these apps are actually developed in a dedicated way, really to support voiceover, and with the intention of being really there for blind users. So that's also a key difference with this app, is it's centered around low vision users. We also have about 20 languages supported in the app at the moment, with more on the way. The big deal here, I think, also, as I mentioned earlier, is for low vision users who, in some ways, were not really serviced by any of the solutions out there previously. There's, of course, you have some scales and a couple of products that might have a high contrast screen on them, but there's still a limit to how big those could be, driven by just the physical size of many products. So by doing this solution with the app and the large format displays, we can really sort of make a very, very large display of each measurement value from, a thermometer or a tape measure or whatever it is, which just leaves people with the possibility to use whatever remaining eyesight they have for, some more years. And then, as I said, also the Deafblind accessibility is something that I think is completely new for many, being able to use this together with, hearing aid, cochlear implant, or Braille tablet. So I'm not going to sort of do like a detailed run through of every product, because I think it's better with the materials that we have on the web page. People can read it in detail, or watch the video about the things that they're interested in. I'll just list up, though, the products that we have at present on the market, and a little bit about what we're intending. So last year we released 8 different accessories under the IKONN brand. So that's starting with a kitchen scale, bathroom scale, room thermometer, hygrometer, a kitchen thermometer, oven grill thermometer, I guess you could call it. Then a 1.5 meter flexible tape measure for doing hobbies, sewing, body measurements, and things like that, for clothing. On top of that, then we added something which I think is quite unusual for many, which is the calipers and the angle measure. So we've had a very a large level of interest in those two products because they're something rather unique. And so for anybody doing sort of detailed work, it could be professionally or on a hobby level, where you need to measure small things, but also irregular objects, then the calipers are actually a great solution for blind users because it's very difficult to measure something on a tape measure if it's not completely flat. So just using the caliper jaws has turned out to be a great solution for a lot of people. We've also had quite a bit of interest in the angle measure. So obviously, something for measuring angles is interesting for people doing stuff like woodworking. But the other interesting use is for children. So anybody learning geometry or trying to get a concept of angles and geometry, trigonometry, and mathematics, it helps a lot to get that perception of angles working with the angle measure. And then the last product we released last year is the forehead fever or infrared thermometer. So it's a forehead thermometer with combined ear thermometer function. You can also point it at objects to measure up to about 100 degrees, so to see if something on the stove is boiling. This year we've just today released the color sensor. So that's the only one of the products that doesn't work with both the app and the controller. So it's a plug-in unit to go with the controller. So that's being released across Europe today. And then later in the year, we're expecting to release a few more products: a blood pressure meter, a metal tape measure, so a longer 5-meter tape measure, as well as some new features within the app and the controller. So taking these products that we have, we're also able to keep on adding some new interesting features to make them more useful to people in different ways. So that's a very short summary of what we've released so far. The products, as I said, they're available in about 14 countries now, and on our ikon.info homepage, you can see the list of distributors. I expect to release in another 3 to 4 countries in the next few months. So we'll be covering a fairly large part of Europe by the end of the year. As I said, it's possible to update the app to use different languages, or update the controller to use different languages. It's also, and this is an interesting thing for some people, multiple controllers or apps can share the same devices. So, in a shared community or household where you perhaps have more than one person, they can each use their own app or controller together with these products. It's not like it's a one-to-one. So we have some situations, where there's in a shared community, people have one kitchen scale in a shared kitchen, and then everybody just connects to it when it suits them with their own app or controller. The prices, of course, a little bit varied from country to country. There's all sorts of differences in Europe with VAT and reimbursement and different things, but generally speaking, everything is in the range from sort of 50 to 100 euros. I think the color sensor is a little bit more. It's around 150 euros in most countries, 180 in that sort of price range. So fairly economical compared with many traditional assistive devices. So with that, I think that's as many sort of questions as many sort of basic information pieces as I think I need to share with you. But you're very welcome to ask any questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer them here. So there was one question whether the products are available in Spain. So ONTHE, the Spanish blind organization, are actually testing the products at the moment. So we don't have, you could say, a distributor selling them actively in Spain. It is possible, I guess, to buy it from elsewhere, for example, from France, and then just to install Spanish onto the controller, or use the Spanish version of the app. So in that sense, it's possible to use it with Spanish, but we don't have a Spanish reseller in place at the moment. Great. Then if there are no other questions, then thank you very much for your time and interest, and wish you all a great day. Thank you very much for attending, and bye for now.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation. For more information, visit sightcity.net/0031122. Thank you, and see you at the next SightCity.